Hi, I'm Eric Kelly from KellyPlanet.com. This is a close look at Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 7, Episode 6, Phantasms. There's Data, and based on the camera lens, I can tell something weird is going to happen. Data hears an old-timey telephone ringing, and those guys are digging in the wall. Okay. Data makes a noise that kind of sounds like an old dial-up modem, and then they tear his arm off. Oh, look, he was dreaming. Up until now, I had no idea he even had a bed or bothered sleeping, since he doesn't have to.
Captain's log, stardate 47225.7. Commander LaForge has completed the installation of our new warp core. We are preparing to test its capabilities.
New warp core, huh? I bet nothing's going to go wrong. Picard isn't very happy. He's been invited to the annual Admiral's banquet, and he doesn't want to go. Looks like that part of the warp core is green now, and Data asks Geordi if he's ever had a nightmare. Well, of course, everyone does. Now including an android. Perhaps he's discovered another level to his dream program.
I've also noted that I am spending an inordinate amount of time thinking about nightmare imagery.
Well, it's perfectly normal, Data.
Commander LaForge?
Speaking of nightmares.
That very not tall young lady is Ensign Tyler, and she has a thing for the chief engineer. Data asks about this and finds out Geordi doesn't feel the same way about her, and they keep talking about this, and I don't think any of it matters, because it doesn't, so let's move on. They got the new warp core fired up, so to test it, Picard tells Ensign Gates to head to Starbase 219 at Warp 6. Engage. And nothing happens. Geordi pushes some buttons, and Ensign Gates tries again, but then all the lights shut off.
Mr. LaForge.
Stand by, Captain. LaForge to bridge. I'm sorry, sir, but we're gonna have to reconfigure this plasma conduit. It's gonna take at least a couple of hours, sir.
Well, that probably means we'll have a few hours to talk about our feelings. Data is just staring at Spot for some reason. Spot is currently male in continuity, played by a female cat named Brandy, but will give birth a few episodes from now, so hey, whatever. Troy stops by, and we find out he was watching his cat sleep and wonders what cats dream about. Geordi mentioned Data's nightmare to her, so she's there to check on him.
I've been debating whether or not to initiate another dream sequence.
Data, you shouldn't be afraid of dark imagery in your dreams. It's a natural expression of your unconscious. If you have an unconscious.
Pretty sure she means subconscious, right? Anyway, her advice is to explore the imagery in his dreams, and he says, okay, that sounds good, I'll get right on it, good night. So here we go with Data's weird dream. Looks like Worf is having a nice piece of cake in 10 forward. He tells Data it's a cellular peptide cake with mint frosting. Ew, okay. Peptides are amino acids. Oh, there's Bev, and she's sucking a straw coming out of Riker's head. We hear that old-timey phone ringing again, and Riker's like, go answer that, will you? And there's those guys again, too.
Please identify yourselves. I must ask what you were trying to
Be quiet.
Troy's a cake. She says, oh, please don't hurt me. But Data takes a slice out of her shoulder, and then he wakes up, and why are they all in his quarters? Oh, he was late meeting Geordi in engineering. I didn't know androids could oversleep. And neither did Data. He says something must be wrong. But Geordi says, nope, you seem fine to me. And hey, maybe your dream program is supposed to let you oversleep sometimes to be more human. That's supposed to be Sigmund Freud, and Data's on his famous couch. Data is explaining about the Counselor Troy cake in his dream, and old Freud thinks he knows what the issue is.
Your mechanistic qualities are trying to reassert themselves over your human tendencies. Ego and id struggling for domination.
You got that? Austrian guy explains that the Troy cake is Data's desire to possess his own mother. He doesn't have a mother. Well, he does, but we don't know about that till later this season. Freud thinks the cake knife is a phallic symbol because of course he does. But Data doesn't have sexual desires, so the doc thinks he's impotent. Data's like, you don't know what you're talking about, because he doesn't in this case, and ends the program. This scene is a lot longer, and I guess intended to be amusing because you can't psychoanalyze an android, but it's not. That's Admiral Nakamura, and he wants to know why Picard isn't at the banquet thing yet. He says, I'm on my way, we have warp core problems.
You're not trying to avoid this particular engagement, are you, Picard?
No, certainly not. I'm really looking forward to it.
Good. I'll expect you soon. Nakamura out.
Very convenient timing as Geordi calls up to say the warp drive should be working now. Oh, but it doesn't. Geordi says the impulse engines are down too, but he can fix it in 2 or 3 hours. I guess Picard's going to be even more late to the party. There's crushing on Geordi Ensign Tyler again, and I don't know why she's in this story. But that scanner thing reminds Data of the cake knife, and then, holy crap, what's that on Geordi's neck? And then Data hears the phone ringing, but he's awake right now. Strawhead Riker again says, answer the phone. Oh, it's in his chest cavity, so I guess he's not awake, my bad. Hello?
Kill them. You must kill them all before it's too late.
Data, what's wrong?
Oh, so he was awake, then zoned out, I guess, and now he's awake again. Something's wrong. Data tells the counselor that everything is increasingly reminding him of that messed up cake dream. Troy says, normally I would say you are hallucinating, but you can't, so it must be a technological problem. But his self-diagnostics don't detect any issues. She says, well, maybe you have developed a neurosis. And he's like, you really think so? He's got to be the first person to be happy about that. She schedules him for weekly counseling sessions and wants him to shut off his dream program until their next meeting. There's Admiral Nakamura again. He threatens to send a tow truck, or, ship, for the Enterprise, but Picard assures him that they will get there on time. So the captain goes down to help out in engineering, but Data and Geordi are on top of it. Ensign Tyler gets him to help her out instead, and where the heck did Data go? Now, before I play the next part, I'd like to point out that at the time, the BBC edited this out because they thought it was too violent. I don't think it is. Well, here.
Hello, Data. What are you doing?
Hold very still, counselor.
That wasn't a dream. Data went all Norman Bates and stabbed Troy for real. Worf is complaining because Riker gave his son Alexander some jazz records or files, and he plays them all the time, and that's just not music. Worf prefers opera. Oh no, there's Psycho Data, and he must not be trying very hard because Worf is able to subdue him, and Riker calls for medics.
I believe I had another waking dream, sir. But this time, I had an uncontrollable urge to eliminate the image I saw.
And what you saw was some sort of mouth on Troy's shoulder.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like what we saw on Geordi's neck. He tells him he saw a straw coming out of Riker's head. A straw? Yeah, all the stuff from my dream. Geordi says, Captain, I can't find anything wrong with him. Until they can figure it out, Data is relieved of duty and confined to quarters. I hope Troy's okay. Oh, there she is, and Bev says she's going to be just fine. But it looks like she has a scar, and that's not a thing in the future. So Bev's going to do some more scans. Worf takes Data to his quarters, and Data gives him his sidearm, and asks if he could take care of Spot for him in case he gets violent again. Sure thing, man.
Spot, come here.
Spot does not respond to verbal commands. Tell him he is a pretty cat. And a good cat.
I will feed him.
Bev tells the captain they have a problem. Here, look. Troy has a space bug on her shoulder. And look again, I have one too. Pretty much everybody does. There's one on Riker and Picard. She says they are spreading. It turns out these things are parasites and are sucking out their cellular peptides. We heard that term before. Eventually, their host bodies will lose cellular cohesion and turn into a pile of goo on the floor. That's not good. So what to do? Geordi tells us that the space bugs are out of phase with their universe, like he and Ro were that one time. So nothing they've tried has worked so far. The parasites seem to be connected to Data's dreams, so let's talk about those some more.
What we want to do, Data, is link your neural net to the holodeck and have you activate your dream program. So as you dream, we can observe the dream images.
Perhaps we can learn more about these creatures by interpreting the symbols and images of your dreams.
Yeah, so that's the plan, and here we go. There's Dream Data, and they just follow him. And there's the ringing again, and this 10 forward stuff should seem familiar as well. He offers the captain a piece of Troy cake from her shoulder. This is a symbol of consumption, because, parasites.
Mr. Data, what kind of cake is this?
It is a cellular peptide cake.
But meant frosting.
Cellular peptides, that's exactly what the creatures are extracting.
Will someone answer that damn ringing?
What could the ringing symbolize? Yeah, that's right, the phone is inside Data. It's for you. Again, Freud says, kill them before it's too late. And now we're in, I guess, Austria, because Freud didn't go to England until he was like 82. Dream Freud suggests they respond to the creatures in order to stop them, then the worker guys show up and shoot the shrink, and then move couch Data and start messing with the power conduit in the wall again. Turns out it was installed when they put the new warp core in, so that's where the parasite things came from. I was wondering. The worker guys go after Geordi and Picard.
Stop! You must not hurt my friends.
Be quiet.
Data, the shrieking noise you made, it causes them pain.
Yeah, they don't like that. Data says he gets it now and shuts off the holodeck. That screechy noise represents an interphasic pulse that will get rid of the space parasites, so Geordi sets it up so Data can sweep the whole ship at once somehow. Bev says, yep, it's working, the bugs don't like that.
Captain's log supplemental. The creatures infesting the Enterprise have been completely eliminated. We believe the infestation originated within the warp core we obtained on Starbase 84.
Yeah, those things came aboard with a new warp core, and were also why Geordi couldn't get the engines to work. It's going to take him 6 hours to make a new conduit, so oh no, Picard's Admiral party will be over by then. Data's playing with Spot when Troy stops by with a gift. He apologizes for stabbing her on the shoulder. She says, oh, it wasn't your fault, but I thought it would be appropriate to make you a data cake.
What would Dr. Freud say about the symbolism of devouring oneself?
Data, sometimes a cake is just a cake.
Phantasms was written by Brannon Braga and directed by Sir Patrick Stewart, and normally that's a pretty good thing. But this one just doesn't do it for me. I like the cellular peptide cake gag, and we got to see Spot a bunch of times. There was some moments of humor thrown in, and we don't always get those. I guess my issue is it seems to be a case of really wanting to do a story about dream psychology, and then just kind of sprinkling Star Trek elements here and there because that's the name of the show. The Admiral Banquet thread was just filler, and Ensign Tyler's crush on Geordi was just filler, and I don't know, maybe I'm just in a mood. While I was writing the first half of this, I was considering doing 2 deltas out of 5, but it really wasn't terrible or anything, and maybe I just didn't enjoy writing about it. Sub Rosa is coming up, and I don't know what I'm going to do with masks yet. So let's go 3 deltas out of 5. You can let me know how you feel about that. If you like that video, thank you. Like and subscribe. Make a comment if you want to. There's more Star Trek videos and related content on my website. Check it out at kellyplanet.com. I'm Eric Kelly. Live long and prosper.